Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Nrsimhaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Nrsimhaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Nrsimhaya. Namaste Jastejase Abhiravi Bhavava Janakava Jadangstra Karma Shayan Randhaya Randhaya Tamogasagasa Om Swaha Abhayam Abhayam Atmani Bhuyashta Om Shrom. Sri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, most charming and beautiful form. Sri Nrsimha Dev is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, also charming and beautiful, but not as obviously charming and beautiful as Krishna. Krishna is decorated with forest flowers. Nrsimha Dev is decorated with the blood of Hiranyakashipu and a garland of intestines. Not all the time, but we particularly remember him in his pastime of killing Hiranyakashipu. There's the very famous painting of Nrsimha Dev killing Hiranyakashipu. That was painted by Jadurani Devi Dasi under the direct guidance of Srila Prabhupada. So she first brought it to Prabhupada when she'd finished for checking. Prabhupada said, "That's very nice, but you need more blood. More blood required." And she brought it again with more blood to Prabhupada, and he said, "That's better, but you need more blood." So now we're smiling and laughing. But when Nrsimha Dev appeared and killed Hiranyakashipu and all his soldiers also, not only Hiranyakashipu, no one was smiling and laughing. The demigods, they were completely awestruck. Awestruck. I don't know the Russian word. You have to translate it. Awe. I just like awe and reverence, like that. They were smitten by awe. And they were just as afraid of Nrsimha Dev as they had been of Hiranyakashipu. Because, in essence, their attitude wasn't that different from Hiranyakashipu. They also wanted to enjoy the material world. And Nrsimha Dev was extremely angry. So they didn't... Prahlad, he took shelter of Nrsimha. From the beginning, he wasn't afraid at all. Prahlad was never afraid. Even if Prahlad had thought that this is... Even if there was any material danger, just like from Hiranyakashipu, the danger of being killed did not at all perturb Prahlad. Because Prahlad, he was self-realized and he wasn't afraid of death. But of course, Prahlad recognized that this is my worship for the Lord. And he was very happy with the appearance of Nrsimha Dev. He was not feared. He was not afraid. That one name of Nrsimha that we sing every day, Prahlada Lada Dayan. He is the Prahlad means very happy. So how is he happy? What is his happiness? He's happy because of Nrsimha. Nrsimha gives him happiness. He's happy in the remembrance of Nrsimha. So this was the most unexpected appearance of the Lord. Previous to that, just shortly before, he had appeared as a pig, which is not expected, that the Supreme Lord will appear as a pig, not expected to people who try to imagine what God should be like by their own imagination. But this form was even more amazing. Half lion, half man. And the lion face was there. The facial part wasn't the lion at the bottom and the man at the top. It's the lion at the top. So extremely fearsome. But not for Prahlad. He was very happy to see Nrsimha Dev. So we're also very happy. We should be happy. We have a good protector. What is there to be afraid of? If Nrsimha is protecting us, then we should not be afraid. There's only one thing that devotees should be afraid of. Something very, very dangerous. It's called Maya. Devotees should be afraid of Maya. If we're not afraid of Maya, then we're in Maya. Because Maya is stronger than us. But Nrsimha Dev saves us from Maya. We pray to Nrsimha Dev that just as you killed the demon Hiranyakashipu, so I'm trying to be your devotee. I'm trying to serve you, but I have so much contamination in my mind. You please destroy that. Of course, many people, most people in this world who do worship God, they do so for some material benediction. But really we should worship Bhagavan for the benediction to be free of all material desires, as Prahlad did. Generally, Nrsimha Dev is worshipped not in this ugra, very fierce form. Who will dare to worship him in this form? Because this fierce form of the Lord, of Nrsimha Dev, that he is killing Hiranyakashipu, and also he will kill all material desires. So only someone who really wants to be free of material desires will want to worship this form, Ugra Nrsimha. That's why most, even Vaishnavas, they're hesitant to worship Ugra Nrsimha. Yeah, Ugra Nrsimha means our Nrsimha. Fierce form. So, Nrsimha Dev is widely worshipped in India. All over India there are ancient temples of Nrsimha Dev. Especially there are many temples of Nrsimha in the Telugu-speaking area. It's now called Andhra Pradesh. Telugu. Yeah. And in the Telugu-speaking area there's also... I'm saying that because it's about to be divided into 2 states. So there's Ahobilam, which is said to be the appearance place of Nrsimha. Of course, we understand from Shastra that Nrsimha appeared, he went to where Hiranyakashipu was, which was in the heavenly planets. So that area, it's actually quite a big area. It's not just one place, it's quite a big area there, Ahobilam. That we can understand that is the manifestation of Nrsimha Dev's appearance place. It's the manifestation within this planet Earth. And, to see everything, to go, there are 9 places of Nrsimha's manifestation there. In Ahobilam, yeah. And that's all spread out in a jungle, hilly area. Who's been there? Have you been there? You've been there? Anyone else? Yeah, maybe we should all go there one time. I went there a long time ago. More than 20 years ago. It's been developed now by the Andhra Pradesh Tourist Association and by the local devotees also. There are hotels there. When I was there was just some guest house which is about the same size as and about the same standard as one of these toilets here. There's just one room, one open room with no furniture and no water and biris on the floor. That was it. So I don't know what the arrangement is now, but in those days if you had a good guide and you started first thing in the morning, you could see all the places before sunset and come back. Otherwise you could get lost in the jungle. Then the next most famous is Temple of Nrsimha in that area. It's along Ahobilam's in the deep south of Andhra Pradesh, and Simhachalam is in the north. I think many devotees have been there. It's much more accessible. Who's been there? It's very difficult to go to Ahobilam. Even to the nearest town is Nandyal, and there's no good train connections there, and then you have to go by some local bus to Ahobilam, and it's very difficult to reach. But yeah. So Simhachalam, I think many devotees may have been. Who's been there? Simhachalam? Oh, I'm seeing so many Telugu devotees who've never been there. You must have been, yeah. You should, Hare Krishna Prabhu, you should take them. It's just an overnight train from Hyderabad, right? You take them sometime. Maybe next time we can all go together. So that's the place of Lakshmi, Varaha, Nrsimha Swami. It's a combined form of Varaha and Nrsimha. And if you go there, he looks like a Shivlinga, just like this, because completely covered in chandan. And just because he's so hot, you have to keep him under chandan all the time. And one day a year, Chandan Yatra, you can have darshan of the Lord's form. So many pilgrims come at that time. They mostly come, actually not from Andhra Pradesh, but from Orissa, just north of there is the border, and then that southernmost district of Andhra Pradesh, Ganjan district. They're all devotees of Nrsimha. They're more devotees of Nrsimha than Jagannath, unlike the rest of Orissa. Then near to Hyderabad, there's Yadgiri Gutta. They've all been there. All the Telugu devotees have been there. Yadgiri Gutta is an ancient temple where all these are self-manifested deities, where the Lord appeared in a cave, and he's Nrsimhadev, and he's being worshipped there since, who knows, time immemorial. Yadgiri Gutta. There are many other temples also not so well known. There's one temple of Yoga Nrsimha south of Sulurapeta, just near the Tamil Nadu border, where he's just at the edge of the sea, and he's looking out to the sea, and he always saves the sailors in the storms. Then in a little further south there's the in Tamil Nadu in Kanchi there's Nrsimha, and at Namakkal there's an ancient deity. Again, these are all Nrsimha appears. He just appears, mostly all these deities. He just manifests himself. That's all. And then the devotees go on worshipping him. In Vrindavan is Nrsimha deity. And you'll find here and there spread out. In Kathmandu, there's famous deity of Nrsimha. In Navadvip Dham, Nrsimha came here. After killing Hiranyakashipu, he made a visit to Navadvip Dham, and all the demigods came and worshipped him here. And he stayed here. He's always here, of course, because this is his holy dham, but he decided to stay here at Nrsinghapalli. So that question may come then, why do Gaudiyas worship Nrsimha? When we're supposed to concentrate on Radha Krishna. Of course, we find among the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who are present with him during his pastimes, that a few were devotees of Rama.
Present with whom?
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But mostly they were devotees of Radha Krishna, following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now, the particular specialty, the quality, characteristic of Radha Krishna Leela is that it is very sweet. This Chaitanya in Chaitanya Charitamrita, that stated that Madhurja Bhagavatasa, the essence of Bhagavan, of his being Bhagavan, is not so much his power or his majesty or his controlling as his sweetness. Now, the form of Nrsimha does not appear to be very sweet, fierce, nasty. At least that's how Hiranyakashipu saw him. Hiranyakashipu, he thought, I'm the nastiest person. But Nrsimha showed him, I'm nastier than you. Bhagavan is not to be outdone by anyone. So, of course, all that nastiness was concentrated on Hiranyakashipu. Of course, not really nasty, because it's not in the nature of Bhagavan to be nasty. He is Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam. He is the best well-wisher of everyone. But those who are very nasty, they require to be dealt with in a very nasty way. But the end result is that they are eternally benefited. The Christian or Islamic conception of God is of the most nasty person imaginable. Your God in your Christian or Islamic, Abrahamic traditions. According to them, he creates so many different humans, and almost all of them he sends to hell forever without any possibility of redemption. So, when you go back to Russia, if anyone complains to you that this Nrsimha, how can this be God? God should be very nice. You can tell them he is very nice. He is delivering the universe and delivering Hiranyakashipu by killing Hiranyakashipu. But your idea of God, that's not very nice at all. That he punishes people eternally because in one life they didn't bathe themselves in the blood of Jesus or whatever. So Nrsimha Deva is very angry. We especially remember him in this form as the supremely angry person. Whatever qualities may seem to be, which are bad in the material world, when Bhagavan exhibits them, they become the supremely worshipable qualities. He is glorified as the greatest thief. He steals the butter, he steals the gopis' clothes, he steals the hearts of the devotees. One Srila Prabhupada was discussing that people accuse Krishna of being lusty. So Prabhupada said, yes, he's lusty. He is the supreme lusty. You cannot have 16,108 wives. For him, that's just a few. Actually, he has billions of gopis. So he is the most lusty. But that, of course, is not like the abominable lust which binds us in this material world. So this form is the angry form. And when God gets angry, you better be careful, unless you're a pure devotee. That's why everyone except Prahlad was worried. It might be me next. He might rip me. He ripped all those demons to pieces. Maybe he'll rip me also. But that form is worshipped by the devotees. So Krishna is very sweet, but there are different flavors also. Bitter, sour, salty, pungent. So it's just like you Gujaratis, you like sweet only, isn't it? In Gujarat, not only are the sweet, but the chapatis are sweet, the dal is sweet, the sabji is sweet. Even when they cook Kerala, they put sugar in it and make it sweet. So I think Gujaratis, they're good candidates for being Gauriya Vaishnavas, because Gauriyas like everything sweet. Or rather, they find sweetness everywhere. That Madhuradipate Rakilam Madhuram. His Gamanam Madhuram Damanam, his smashing is also, everything he does is very sweet. So devotees, they find sweetness in Nrsimha's nastiness. And actually that madhurja bhagavatasa, the sweetness is the essence of Bhagavan's existence. His anger at Hiranyakashipu is a manifestation of his intense love for Prahlad. So if Krishna did not get angry and protect his devotees, then what kind of love would that be? Among devotees also we sometimes have the idea that, well, we should always be nice and smile and never get angry. But this idea is coming from the Mayavadis, who have no love for anything. If we love Krishna, then we should be angry at those who are blaspheming or imitating Krishna or preaching wrong philosophies that mislead people away from Krishna. If we can tolerate Mayavad, which is all blasphemy of Krishna, then how can we be devotees of Krishna? So the Mayavadis have popularized this idea that a sadhu is just very mild and smiles all the time and never gets upset. But, Arjuna, he wanted to be a sadhu and a peacenik. But Krishna didn't allow him. Arjuna wanted to become a protester? What do they call that? The peace? I can't remember the term now. Hanuman, we worship him for his burning Lanka. Terrorist. Conscientious objector, that's the term. Arjuna wanted to become a conscientious objector, and Krishna objected to that. You don't have any term in Russia? There's no such idea in Russia. Either you fight or either you fight or you're killed. That's all. You probably don't have that term in Russian. It means someone who objects to fighting on philosophical and ethical grounds. So we see Srila Prabhupada. He wasn't. We have pictures of him holding a flower and smiling. We do have pictures like that. It's not that devotees are always angry, but he would also get very angry at people. Someone told him, "I am God," and Prabhupada shouted back at him, "You are not God, you are a dog." So Nrsimha's anger at Prahlad shows that he actually loves Prahlad. It's not just a matter of saying, "I love you," okay, I love you. Well, I have this serious problem here. I have this father who's trying to kill me. Well, okay. Actually, Prahlad wasn't disturbed, but Nrsimha became disturbed. Prahlad, finished? Okay. Prahlad, for his own sake, he didn't become disturbed, but Nrsimha, he became very, very angry. So, sweetness is the principal characteristic of the Lord, and that is there in all his activities, all his interactions with his devotees. Now, the Gaudiyas, they also worship Nrsimhadev because for those who are aspiring to be devotees like Prahlad, but who are accompanied by the Hiranyakashipu of their demoniac desires, we pray to Nrsimha that just as you killed Hiranyakashipu, you please kill these demoniac desires within our heart. Nrsimhadev protects the devotees externally and internally. Bahir Nrsimho Hridaye Nrsimhaha. He is outside, he is within our heart. It used to be very common for our devotees preaching Krishna consciousness in the West that we would take shelter of Nrsimha from attacks of the demons. And that means physical attacks. It used to be quite common, even when I joined, in that we'd go for Harinam Sankirtan in London or some other city, and people would physically attack us. So if we saw usually it was some like gang of drunken youths like this. So if we saw such people coming toward us, then we'd start chanting Nrsimha. We'd change from Hare Krishna mantra to Nrsimha mantra. And we'd see they become afraid, actually. They didn't even know why they're becoming afraid. And we'd bring the conch also and blow the conch, and they'd become afraid. The police would come to arrest us. We'd chant Nrsimha mantra. And these demons, they could sense that there's something very fearful for them, which they don't want to go near to. Actually, at Jogpit, the Nrsimha Dev is there, installed by Bhakti Saraswati. When there were some disturbances like this from people trying to attack and threaten the temple there, then Bhakti Saraswati installed Lakshmi Nrsimha. Here also in Mayapur, of course now it's very developed, but previously it was just 1 or 2 buildings, and there are many people around, and some of them were hostile. Hostile means aggressive against us. And dacoits, they thought they had an easy time here, so because just some open fields, they can easily come in, and they did, and just some sadhus here, not so many people. So after some repeated attacks, it was actually Bhavananda at the time, he arranged for Nrsimha Dev to come here. So all these deities here at ISKCON Mayapur, they're very famous in this area particularly. The Panchatattva, Radha Madhav, the 8 Sakis, they're very famous. And Nrsimha Dev also. Everyone here knows Nrsimha. He's there. He's really there. There's a term in Bengali they say for a deity who everyone can sense that he's present. Jagrata means he's awake. So they say that about the Thakur is Jagrata means like that. Jagannath also in Rajapur. Everyone can appreciate that Pratima Nahatumi, Sakshat Brajendra Nandan. He's not a stone, not simply a statue. He is directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And of course this Nrsimha has become very famous for seems that he's in competition with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu of being the most magnanimous. I mean, who are we to say? But he manifests himself in people's lives. He is none different, of course, from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu here also, he took the form of Nrsimha. That one time he asked Srivas, that means just here, he asked Srivas to recite Vishnu Sahasranam. So just in the beginning of that comes the name Nrsimha Vapu, the one who is the form of man and lion. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard this name, he became absorbed in the mood of Nrsimha Dev. He ran out of Srivas's house and ran in the street, manifesting the bhav of Nrsimha. And all the people ran away in fear. Seeing this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became sorry and came back to the house of Srivas. And he was very sorry. He said, it's not good to make the people afraid. And Srivas said, no, it's very good. Anyone whoever saw you in that form, they're delivered from material existence. Nrsimha Dev also appeared here in Navadvip in the dream of Chandkazi. That when the Hindus, as it's stated in Chaitanya Charitamrita, were performing Sankirtan, the Kazi, the local ruler, he heard about this and he became very angry. And he went to one house where devotees were performing kirtan, and he broke the mridanga and said, if you dare to perform this anymore. Don't do any more kirtan. So the devotees became very afraid. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, anyway you go on doing kirtan. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took a Sankirtan party to the house of the cousin. And in the course of their discussion, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked that, you see, now you stopped the kirtan, but anyway we're doing it and you're not stopping it. Why is that? Of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knows everything because he is Nrsimha Dev. But the Kazi explained that the night that I broke the mridanga, that in my dream, some fierce, lion-like figure appeared. You can understand who that is. And he said, because you broke my mridanga, because you harassed my devotees, I'm going to kill you and all the Yavans, it means all the Muslims. And then the Qazi explained that seeing me so afraid, he said, okay, I'll let you off this time, but don't you dare do any such thing again. And the Qazi said, and see, I still have the scratch marks. He scratched my chest. He showed that to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also every day, he would take darshan of Nrsimha in Puri. As he would, and there's the Nrsimha temple, which is there close to the, it's close to Gundicha temple, isn't it? But just at the entrance of the Jagannath Mandir, there's a Nrsimha temple, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would take darshan as he went inside the temple every day. And daily while taking darshan of Nrsimha, he would chant, Namaste Nrsimhaya Prahlada Hlada Dayani Hiranyakashipo Vakshashila Nakhalaya Ito Nrsimha Parato Nrsimho Yato Yato Yami Tato Nrsimha Vahir Nrsimho Hridaye Nrsimho Nrsimha Mahadim Sharanam Prapade. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Nrsimha Dev. Srila Prabhupada gave one of his disciples the name Nrsimha Chaitanya. He worshipped Nrsimha Dev. He taught us to worship Nrsimha Dev. Bhaktivinoda Thakur states that Nrsimha here in Mayapur, he gives prem. So we worship him to protect us internally and externally, and we pray to him to give us Krishna prem. Just I thought of some more famous Nrsimha temples. There's near to Chennai is Sholingur. Still many. What is it? The name of the place. No, that's where our temple is. Where our temple is. We say in Jambakam, but actually it's under Sholalingalore post office. But Sholingur is Nrsimha temple. And at Melkote is also. Mangalagiri, of course, yeah. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited all these places, they're all mentioned. He visited the Pana Nrsimha, where you make some mixture of mishri and water, and they usually put that big borowelach in there. What's that called, that drink? That Panakam, yeah. And they feed, you get a big pot, you feed it to Nrsimha, he takes half and then he's full up. Pana Nrsimha, yeah. Drinking Nrsimha. That's a very cooling, said to be very cooling, so it's good for Nrsimha. And usually at this time of year it should be very hot, but somehow it's not so hot this year. So devotees generally on this day, they offer this to the Lord. Panakam. And then they also take. What other temples are there in Karnataka? Any more? Can think of? They have at the Ritwik temple. Oh, right. It's just in Bida, just outside the town. There's that temple. You have to go down in the ground in a cave, through a tunnel, walk through the water. You brought us there. Jana? Stream. Which language is that? Jarna. Yeah. You took us there once. So let there be temples of Nrsimha everywhere. In Germany, that temple was established just on the border with what was the Iron Curtain. Did you call it the Iron Curtain from that side? From this side we called it the Iron Curtain also. Great Wall, that's in Berlin. But the Iron Curtain is just like an imaginary... but it's the border between the Warsaw Pact countries and what they called Eastern Europe. So it was very dangerous to preach in those countries, actually. Prabhupada sent devotees to preach, but it was very dangerous. In most of those countries it was dangerous to preach or even practice Krishna consciousness. So the erstwhile Harikesh Maharaj installed Prahlad Nrsimha just very close to the border with Czechoslovakia. And I remember the first time I went to Russia, it was 1989. I think Andropov was the boss at that time. 89, yeah. No, Gorbachev hadn't come. It was just before him. And it was... It must have been 85 or 84. Maybe it was 86, yeah. And it was like after Brezhnev they became very nasty. And then Gorbachev came and then things changed. It's very, very oppressive at that time. So I was accompanying Prabhavishnu Swami on his first visit to Russia also. So first we went there to that Nrsimha Kshetra to take blessings from Nrsimha Dev. Before we went there, Hare Krishna, we better go and take darshan of Nrsimha Dev Bhagavan Ki Jai. Bhakti Vikasa